Alright, welcome back to Whiskey Tango Fishing, folks. Today I did a little fall trout fishing, and trout fishing in and of itself is not very eventful, right? You're casting the bait out there and then you're sit and wait until something decides to hit it. So rather than make you guys sit through that, what I'm going to do today is a video on how I clean the trout that I catch. And I don't eat trout. I'm not a big fan of it, but I catch it and clean it for family members and friends who do eat it. I am not the best out there. This is just a way that seems to work well for me. I'm sure there's people out there that may have better ways, and I'm sure there's people out there that are much more proficient at it than I am, because I don't do it very often. But I'm going to change over the camera mount so you guys have like a first person view while I'm cleaning the trout, and I'm going to go through and clean a couple for you so you can see how I do it and decide if that's a way you'd like to try it. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hit that subscribe button. A lot of you guys watch and not a lot of you guys are subscribing, right? So hit that subscribe button. If you like today's content, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Put your comments down below if you have a better way of doing it. If you do it in a similar way, let me know how you clean trout and your thoughts on today's video. So I will catch you guys on the flip side once I change the camera mount over, and we'll get into it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, if you look at this one, her beak is a lot shorter. This is a female. And look at this guy, the beak's a lot longer, right? So that's your male. So that both males have the longer beak, and the female has the shorter, more rounded beak. So that's an easy way to tell. Now, that both males happen to be a darker color, but I don't know if that's a consistent thing with rainbow trout. All right, I got the camera changed over. I got Maya, the unofficial mascot of Whiskey Tango Fishing here. She just ate her food, so she's going to be whining in the background because she wants her collagen braid. She always wants that. Get down. I got to film the video first. You want to be famous? I'll make you famous. Okay. All right. Sit and be a good girl. Sit. What did I say? Thank you. Good girl. All right. Watch Daddy while I clean the fish. Okay. And then if you're good and you don't jump, then you can have your new one after I clean the fish. Okay. Let me get to that. All right. So what I do is I got one of the fish here on the table, on the cutting board. You want to make sure that you have a fairly sharp knife. So hopefully my knife is sharp enough and doesn't give me problems. I haven't sharpened it in a little while, but I take the tip of the knife and I go right in at the vent, and I make a little cut, and I come straight up. I go all the way up. Then, right behind the gill plate here and the pectoral fin, I go in at an angle. I go down to the backbone, to the spine, and then I cut it all the way out. And make sure you're clear of that pectoral fin. Okay. And there you go. Right? Now, once that's done, you've got access to all the innards. And I just grab them, pull them out. Sometimes, especially on these bigger trout, the throat is a lot tougher to rip out. But I put those, always have a bag handy. Of course, some of my power bait's in here now, because it was in his stomach, or her stomach. So once you get all those innards out, you got the air bladder here. I usually puncture that just to kind of get that down. And then you have in the center here, going down on the inside of the spine, underneath the backbone here, you've got, it looks real dark, right? Like almost like a blood clot when you take it out. That's their kidney, I believe. So basically, I'll take my thumb and I puncture that membrane and I go all the way up with it. And then I'll rinse it under cold water. And get all that out. That just seems to be the easiest way for me. And you just keep moving your fingernail in that groove under the spine and get all that out. And sometimes you got the membrane from the air bladder and all that stuff, and you can just throw that in a plastic bag. So now the inside of the fish is cleaned up, right? For the most part. So then you go in where you made that cut, okay? And you turn the knife towards the tail, and you just keep it angled so it's tight against the spine, and you want to go all the way down, and you'll feel those ribs kind of popping. I'm going to actually turn the fish around a little bit here. And if you can hear those ribs popping. Now you're clear of the ribs. And you lift it off, and you've got your fillet. Okay? Then you flip it over to the other side. You're going to cut that, make that same cut behind the head. Come down behind the pectoral fin. Cut all the way down. Again, go to the spine. And then you're going to turn that knife in. Keep it against the spine. And you can hear those ribs popping as you go through them. You can take your time with it. You don't have to rush, right? Everybody wants to get in a hurry. Now, sometimes you get, like I did here, I'm actually getting under the ribs, which is fine, right? Because then you don't have to take them out afterwards if you get most of them out now. That's less you have to fight with. But you come all the way down, again, to the tail, and you flip that over. So now, all you're left with, very minimal meat. Here's your spinal cord right here, this line right here. And then you lose very little meat, and you got your fillets, okay? You can set that aside. The ribs that you didn't get, you can go ahead and just pop your knife underneath, and you want to keep it as close to those ribs as you can. See how I can see my blade? It's just underneath those ribs. And then I come out. There's your ribs on that fillet. Check and make sure there's no fins. And you're going to set this aside. I always rinse them off and then pat them dry on a paper towel afterwards. So I set that in the sink. I've got this side here, where I've got a little bit of, just be careful with the knife, because you don't want to cut yourself. I hear I'm a little further away from the ribs than I would like to be, but It's only at the front there. Not too bad. Maya, you're being very good. Okay. Now, on the one fillet, a lot of times you'll have that that pectoral fin. So when you get the ribs down, cut to a certain point, you can just cut that piece right off, including the fin. Okay? I don't know what this is. I'm kind of marking this meat, so I'm going to cut that out. Okay. And there's your other fillet. And that's as easy as it gets, right? I try to keep it fairly simple because I don't like spending a lot of time on things, right? But you want to make sure you clean it as efficiently as you can. I'm actually going to rinse this cutting board off before I put this other fish on here, because there's some kidney on here still. Just get the major stuff off. I'm going to scrub it when I'm done cleaning the fish anyway. Alright, so we'll go through one more here. In through the vent. And you don't want to go too deep if you don't have to, right? Because then you can puncture the intestines and all that stuff, and it doesn't come out as cleanly, right? Watch your fingers with the knife. There you go. You can always cut that esophagus if it's a little too tough. This one had more of my power bait in there. Isn't that nice? This is a female, so there's some roe. If you're not familiar with roe, it's the eggs. So obviously she wasn't ready to lay yet or anything like that, but okay, go back over here. Work your thumb in there and get as much of that kidney out as you can, just so you're not dealing with that goop. Get my power bait off of here. Again, behind the head and behind the pectoral fin. You're going to go in. You'll feel when you hit the spine. I'll turn this fish around. I do better with my knife in the left hand. Maybe my knife isn't sharp. This is a bigger fish though. Here we go. Come out just before the tail. One fillet. Now this is, I believe it's a 6-inch fillet knife by Lew's. It's their mock fillet knife. You can go with a 4-inch if you want. A smaller knife might be a little easier to maneuver. But, so there you go, you got your fish. Smaller knife might be easier to maneuver, but it's not going to be as versatile. You might need to have an 8-inch knife and a 6-inch knife, right? For if you're filleting bigger fish. But I think a 4-inch knife would work fine for the purposes of trout. And just take your time, work your way up. There's the ribs and the fin. That's one fillet done, right? And then there are still going to be little pin bones that you got to watch for when you cook it and you're eating it, but they won't be too bad. To me, it's not worth the fight of trying to get them out. When you cook the trout and cooking trout, I guess there's a lot of different ways you can make it, but trout are in the salmon family, as you may have already known or deduced because of the color of the meat. But they're in the salmon family, so a lot of people cook them very similar ways. But I'm sure there's tons of recipes out there. Again, I don't eat them. I catch them and clean them for family members. So I can't give you any recipes. Sorry about that. Nice, clean, easy fillet. Now, some people leave the skin on. A lot of people do. Again, just like when you buy salmon, a lot of times it's got the skin on it. Some people, like my uncle, said, hey, you catch trout, don't worry about filleting them or anything. He said, just gut them, get the guts out, and I'll take them and put them right on the grill. He wraps them in foil. He seasons them, and head and all, he just goes ahead and does them right on the grill like that, whole. which if you've ever seen like Bronzino or stuff like that in the supermarket, it's got the head on it a lot of times, right? So I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm talking. It's a fairly easy fish to clean. I'll do one more for you guys on this video. Only takes a few minutes. And these are decent sized trout. These are like 16, 18, 20 inch trout around there. Right behind the head, down to the spine, curve it behind the pectoral fin. Go ahead, put your knife back in. I reposition the fish so that my hand has a better grip. My left hand does better here. Keep the knife angled towards the spine. Keep it tight against the spine, as tight as you can. And again, you don't have to be perfect, right? The worst that's going to happen is you're not going to get as much meat off if you don't keep it close to the spine, right? But you learn, right? You practice and you learn. Again, I don't do this as often. If you've never done it before, maybe I'm making it look easy. I don't know. Put it in the comments below. But it's not real complicated. It's a fairly simple procedure, but it takes time, and you got to have a good knife. Some of these ribs are cutting easier than others. There we go. There's one fillet. Go back to the other side. There's the other fillet. And there's your fish. Go ahead, get it underneath those ribs. Just go gentle with the knife. Keep it as tight up against the ribs as you can. And then get rid of that fin if it's there. Sometimes you catch more than one of the fins. And again, it's fine. You don't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to be perfect. One fillet, good. Actually, I missed a couple of ribs here. And I'm going to go ahead and get those out now. There you go. There's one fillet. So before I get done with this fish, I'm going to tell you all a story here. So with my with the collagen braids, I started calling them, when I first got them, for months I was calling them a stick, and I was asking her if she wanted a stick, her stick, and she just didn't pick up on it. She's a very smart dog, but she never, that word never stuck with her as what they were. So the one time, she was about 6 months old, and at that point I was still worried about her like choking on little things and all that stuff. So I went to take it from her, and she let me take it, but she was like, you know, all like wondering where I was going. She was following me with it. There's that other fillet. She was following me as I was taking it to the trash, and I said to her, I said, no, you can't have that anymore. I said, it's danger, because I was worried she would choke. I'm going to wash my hands because I'm going to show you how she reacts at the end of this story. So I started calling it an N-E-W-O-N-E. I said, do you want an N-E-W-O-N-E? And I'm not going to say it because she's going to freak out. And all I had to do was say it that one time. And ever since then, that's how she knows what a collagen braid is. She, in her mind, it's an N-E-W-O-N-E. So I'm going to show you here. Just a second. Let me dry my hands before we end this video. Maya, I have a question. Sit, 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 sit. Do you sit? Do you want a new one? Do you want a new one? Yes, you do? Okay. What do we do? Wait, what do we do? What do I say? Thank you. Yes, good sit. Good sit. Here you go. You were such a good girl. Good girl. And then she runs around with it, and then she'll lay down. It's usually somewhere near me. And she'll sit there and chew on that thing for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And she loves them. So, all right. That's going to do it for today. I got a couple more fish to clean, but I'm not going to put you guys through that. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this content, if you found it helpful, if you know a better way of cleaning them, go ahead and put that in the comments below. Again, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. I'm trying to get this channel to grow, and the process has been glacial. So if you can help me out, support me in any way, share the channel with anyone you think would benefit from my videos. And I will catch you guys next time on Whiskey Tango Fishing.